So Dominic Thiem and Marton Fucsovics, they're facing off in the round of 32, or the second round of the Italian Open. Now, Thiem this year has not had the best, especially in the beginning of the year. The only thing that stood out was really a fourth round appearance of the Australian Open. He lost to Grigor Dimitrov in straight sets, which wasn't encouraging because in that last set he only won a couple points, which wasn't really encouraging. At the ATP Cup, he didn't do so well. His team failed to progress past the group stage. In Doha, he lost early, and in Dubai, he lost early. So then he decided, hey, I'm going to take a break from tennis. I think he was feeling mentally exhausted. He was feeling mentally drained. So he decided that, hey, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back. And he made his return in Madrid. He managed to break the semis of that tournament. He lost his verve in straight sets, so encouraging signs. And now he has to play Fucsovics, which could prove to be a stern test for Dominic Thiem. Now, Fucsovics this year has had a very great year. The final appearances in Rotterdam, quarterfinal appearances in Doha and in Dubai have shown that he's playing extremely well this year. He's getting close to reaching his career high ranking that he got in 2018. But in Madrid and in Monte Carlo, he lost in the first round, which wasn't so encouraging. But it looks like he's seemingly bounced back in Italy, meaning that he thrashed in Nishioka in the first round, only losing 2 games. So really amazing from Fucsovics there. He's playing really well, at least according to the result that he just played against Nishioka. He's playing decently, and he's going to be confident because Thiem may not be back to his best level. Now, they've met once officially. Thiem won that one 7-5-6-1 on the clay court in Hamburg. They have played though in qualifying, like challenger level unofficial matches, but Thiem won both of those in straight sets. Both of them were on clay, and one was in 2014, one was in 2012. So my prediction here, I think that Thiem is going to win this in straight sets. I think that while Fucsovics is playing well, I think that he will have too much for Thiem. Thiem has won both of those encounters in straight sets, and I think he can do it again. I don't think it'll be easy, but I think it's going to be a 2 tight set victory. So straight sets victory, but 2 tight sets for Dominic Thiem. So Roberto, Bautista against Kristen, Garren, they're facing off in the second round of the Italian Open. Now Bautista got this year. He's had a good year this year. He's had 2 final appearances this year, but on the clay courts, he hasn't fared so well. Barring a loss to Andrei Rublev in the round of 16 at Monte Carlo, he lost early against Sinner in Barcelona, and in Madrid, he lost to Isner while having a match point. So he wouldn't have been too happy again, especially that loss to Isner, because Isner isn't that much of a clay courter, and plus he had match points, so he could have easily won it. So he wouldn't be happy that he lost early to Isner there. He would have been hoping that he would have had a little bit of a deeper run. But at least now at least he's done well today with a 6-3, 6-4 victory against Tommy Paul in the first round. But he's going to have to keep his eyes open when he faces Garren, because Garren is a really great clay court specialist. Now, Garren has had an extremely great year. He's actually at his best on the clay courts. That's why a lot of times he competes most times in clay court events. He tries to skip the hard court event because he isn't as good on the hard court. In Miami, he lost early to Cilic, so not a good sign, especially because Cilic right now isn't in his prime, so not really a great sign. Cilic was actually struggling, so not such a great sign from Garren because Cilic wasn't at his best, and also he is not the force he once was, as I've said. So it shows that Garren struggles on non-clay court surfaces, but on the clay. But speaking of the clay courts, he did have a good run, especially in Chile. He won that title against Bautista in the final. Only set he dropped was Bautista. Only dropped 1 set on route to the title. Pretty impressive. He also made a quarterfinal in Estoril, a quarterfinal in Madrid. Almost beat Berrettini, so good. The eventual finalist, close. So he is playing decently, and he is playing pretty good for what I would say, player who's still trying to develop his clay court game, but still he's at his best on the clay court, so that's a good sign. And he'll be confident because RBA isn't as great on the clay courts. He struggles on the clay courts a lot, so he'll be confident that he can maybe pose some questions and maybe possibly beat him. They've never met, so 0-0 head-to-head. My prediction, I think that it's going to be RBA winning. I think that even though Garren is great on the clay courts and RBA is not, I think RBA can sneak through. I think he can do okay on the clay courts. And I think that RBA will want to learn from, he will want to get better from his loss to Isner. And I think that Garren will provide a great opportunity. I think that he looked good enough in this match today to suggest that he can win this. So RBA in 3 sets, it won't be easy. Garren, I'm sure that I'll be surprised if it's straight sets. Garren will certainly get a set. But RBA in 3 sets, for me, seems like a good pick here. So Cameron Norrie and Davidovich Folkina, they're facing off in the first round of the Italian Open. Now, Norrie has had a really great year this year. He's really broke onto the scene. He did well in the early hardcourt season, reached the 3rd round of the Australian Open, lost to Rafa in 3 tight sets. And he also managed to do well in some other events. He made the quarterfinal of Acapulco. And he also was able to make the quarterfinal of Barcelona, so good result. And in Estoril, he reached his second tour level final. Almost won his first title on the clay courts, but lost to Ramos Vinolas in the 3rd set tiebreak. But still, some good shot making there from Norrie. His loopy forehand really helps, especially on the clay courts. So he's playing really well, and his flat backhand can do well on the hard court. So he's been able to mix it up so that he can do well on the clay and the hard courts. So really good results from him. And now he gets to play Davidovich Folkina. Now Davidovich Folkina this year has also had a really good year. He managed to make the semifinals of Estoril, the quarterfinals of the Open Sud de France, I believe, yes. So he's played pretty well this year. And he's actually at his best on the clay courts. He's a Spaniard, and most Spaniards do well on the clay courts, so some good signs from him. And he'll be confident since he's beaten Norrie before. Now, Norrie and Davidovich Folkina, I know they've met once, and I know that they've met once, and Norrie has Davidovich Folkina has the head-to-head win, 7-6, 4-6, 6-2, 6-1. So good results from Davidovich Folkina there. He is playing pretty well, so he'll be confident of his chances. So we'll see here. Now my prediction, I think that Norrie will still win. I think that even though Davidovich Folkina won their last meeting, I think that Norrie has improved since then. And I think that Norrie has transferred his game really well on the clay courts. So I'm going to pick Norrie to win. I think it's going to be 3 sets because both players are playing extremely well. Especially Davidovich Folkina, who gained an impressive win over Grigor Dimitrov. But I think it's going to be a Norrie win. So Norrie in 3 sets is my prediction. So Juan Leonard and Andrei Rublev, they're facing off in the 2nd round of the Italian Open. Struff this year has had a little bit of a year that has with leaps and bounds, but still a decent year. In his hometown, he made a final. So his first tour level final. He hasn't made a tour level final at all. So that was a good run that he was able to make a tour level final. Lost to Basilashvili, but still, it was a good little run from Struff. In the ATP Cup earlier in the year, he made the semis, lost to Rublev in 3 sets, took a set off Rublev. So that's going to be important because they have met each other before. So he is playing well, and in Sardinia, made the quarterfinals. So Struff is playing pretty well now. He's looking like he's getting slightly more consistent. And we'll see if he can keep that up, because against Rublev, he has to really play at his best if he wants to have a chance. Now, Rublev is one of the most informed players of 2021. He had his memorable winning streak at 500 level events, started by Aslan Karatsev, but still, he's really playing well. He reached his first Masters semifinal, his first Masters final. He also reached the quarterfinals in Barcelona, and he's playing extremely well right now. He's only lost 1 match before the quarterfinals, and that was against Isner in the Madrid Open. So he's playing extremely well nowadays. He's really becoming consistent, and he can be sure that he'll be happy with his opener because he's beaten Struff before. Now, Struff and Rublev, they have met a bunch of times, actually. They've met twice officially, though. They are tied 1-1. They met in St. Petersburg. Struff won that one in straight sets. Rublev won it in 3 sets in the ATP Cup. In qualifying events, Rublev won one on the hard court. On the clay court, Struff won it. So I think that Rublev will still win this. I think that even though Struff is playing well, I think Rublev can win. I think that Rublev is the right pick. So Rublev in straight is my pick here.